Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to the Envy Simsports International Sports Car Challenge, sponsored by WBM Racing. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me in the booth today is going to be the Rob Goatee Campbell, the one, the only, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to be here at Daytona International Speedway, one of my personal favorite tracks. It is indeed on the Princess approved list, but I gotta say, Rob, what an absolutely belter of a venue.
Yeah, it's one of it's not only your favorite, Zippy, it's one of my favorites too as well. So definitely nice to see a couple tracks in a row here that we both generally appreciate. It makes the commentating a whole lot better because you know the track, you're familiar with it, where the guys can really attack and lay back. So I suspect we'll have another real banger of a race here tonight. Road Atlanta last week was great, and the week before it was even better. So I look forward to a real great race here.
Oh, absolutely, Rob. But let's take a very quick look at the schedule. Certainly, we've been to some of my favorite venues so far. We started at Road Atlanta, then we went over to Sebring for round two. Round three takes us to Daytona with another Zippy approved track for round four of Watkins Glen. Round five, we're getting out of that pattern, ladies and gentlemen, and heading to Hockenheim with round six at Le Mans before heading off to round seven, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see where that is. There we go. Road America certainly had a bit of luck there this week for round eight Suzuka, round nine Spa. Thank you very much. I'll take that action with round 10 Aragon, Imola for round 11, and then a finale at Fuji, ladies and gentlemen. What an absolute belter of a schedule. I've got to say, definitely some princess approved tracks on there. But let's take a quick look at the championship points, ladies and gentlemen. And I will be straight up front, they are going to look a little bit lower than you would expect because SimGood actually accounts for drop rounds straight from the get-go, ladies and gentlemen. So don't get me wrong, they have done more points than this. It's just automatically dropping off the weakest round. But right now, for the GTPs, it's going to be Jordan Brasfar. He's in the top spot with Stephen Finch in second and Morgan Smith in third, tied with Wyatt Hutto and Ethan Reed in fifth. You can see actually a tight battle there for sixth. Joint points there for Parker Dime, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to specify Dime, alongside Alberto Alvarez. As we're going to take a look at the GT3 standings, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely going to be a good battle in here. Daniel Pino actually pulling away a little bit there with Pedro there in second, with Michael Morbeto in third. You see he's tied with Patrick Rich, actually, joint points as well. And then we have another tie, ladies and gentlemen, for fifth place, and it's between Javi Sierra and Steve Susanna. Kyle Mills, he's also tied with Brad Mueller for seventh place. And you see a couple of drivers there. Definitely some good participation, but let's take a quick look, see if we can get one of these cars on board very quickly. And that appears to be one of the GTP cars there, Rob.
Yeah, this is Jordan Martin just heading out of the bus stop and into, I guess they call it Daytona 4 is the technical term, Zippy. But yeah, Jordan currently sitting in third in qualifying right now in the GTP class, about to head across the line here to finish up this lap. And I'm not sure if he's actually going to get another one, Zippy. We only got about 30 seconds left in qualifying, but we'll watch him into turn one and get heavy onto the brakes just after the traffic signal on the right side. Looks like he's taking the esports line, going way out wide, but drifted a little wide out there, had to collect it up. And that's going to pretty much cancel out his lap here early on, but he's going to do a couple more corners. We only got two drivers left on track. Everybody else fairly confident in their lap time so far, Zippy. Just Jordan and it's like Kevin Gedenberg, as we're here. Kevin in the Porsche GT3. You see him just coming out of the bus stop where we picked up Jordan early on.
Well, definitely the 7-up Porsche, and yep, that is a hard cut-off for the qualifying, ladies and gentlemen, so that is the end, and that does mean that we are going to be able to have a grid for you in just a second. I've got to say, the stands are absolutely filled for the Envy Simsports International Sports Car Challenge. Thank you all of them people for buying a ticket, but we got Ethan Reed out in the top spot, the Texan driver, alongside Alberto Alvarez, one of the admins there at MV Simsports, with Jordan Martin in third. He's definitely looking to improve, actually, with Wyatt Hutto in fourth. Morgan Smith takes fifth, with Parker Dime in sixth. Tyler Watson in seventh, and Fozzie Fazillo, another WBM driver, ladies and gentlemen, in eighth, as we have a look at the GT3 field with Malik Bass and Daniel Pino actually being beaten to the top step, with Pedro da Silva in third, Michael Morbeto in fourth, Jacob Ferry in fifth, with Javi Sierra in sixth, Kyle Mills takes seventh, with Brad Mueller in eighth, Michael Rushton in ninth, and Kyle Buchel in 10th.
Yeah, and then we're going to find Curtis Matthews in 11th, Patrick Rich in 12th, Chris Rise in 13th, and Tristan Lewis is going to start in 14th. Then we're going to find Michael Manarino I don't know why I want to call him marinara. I think it's because I had pasta for dinner with marinara sauce. But Michael Marinarino,
Manarino,
15th,
buddy. Manarino, you got this.
Frank Manarino in 16th, Kevin Gettenberg in 17th, and Joseph Kroc going to round out the field.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, a 26-car field today. That's definitely nothing to shake a stick at. As we've actually having a look at the conditions right now, definitely looks nice and dry. But actually, looks like the sun's going down. You can see some of the cars have already got those lights on. 26 degrees track temp and about 7:30 in the evening. So I do wonder just how fast the time is going to accelerate. And if I'm not mistaken, a little bit of humidity there as well, of 48%. So definitely going to be a little bit sticky here, ladies and gentlemen. And I mean the cars, not necessarily the commentary booth. I mean, Rob's good, but he's not that good, ladies and gentlemen. But certainly it's going to be an interesting battle indeed. But I got to admit, myself, I think I'd actually be wanting to take the Lambo out on this. Don't get me wrong, it's a very much a little bit of a Marmite car at the minute, but actually showed quite a bit of promise at Sebring recently.
Yeah. You had mentioned to me, Zippy, that you've done a few laps in the Lambo, bringing a little bit of an old dog out to try and teach it new tricks. The Lambo can still be fairly competitive at a number of tracks. Actually, I think we're heading to Watkins next week, and I've kind of peeked in at some of the officials where the VRS series is at Watkins, and the Lambo is actually looks like it's the OP car at Watkins next week. So be interesting to see. I'm not sure if they're allowed car changes in this series or not, but if they are, it'll be interesting to see if anybody hops over into the Lambo to try and get a little bit of the preferred vehicle bump.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, certainly if it is Watkins indeed, maybe we'll see if we can get Richard Swindells in here next week just so I can go and have a little bit of fun on the track. He doesn't know it yet, but certainly, I did definitely have that urge today. Actually, I ended up running a race at Monday, wasn't it? I was actually at Road Atlanta, and I actually had a little bit of success. So by success, it means I didn't crash, ladies and gentlemen. But the GTPs are getting ready to go across the field. And I've got to say, I'm absolutely loving the paints. And we do have potentially Parker Dime going to be modeling the WBM merchandise, ladies and gentlemen. He's the first gentleman to actually have some arrive. We will try and get you some pictures of that very shortly, preferably with him wearing it. Or, well, that's up to you, ladies and gentlemen. But the GTPs are getting ready to go green. And, ladies and gentlemen, Barney's waving the flag from that beautiful crow's nest of a booth. And away they go. The GTPs heading down into turn one. Now, you've got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, it is a new tyre model, and they are, for lack of better words, incredibly sketchy on cold rubber. As you see there, everybody making it through, loving the complete vibrance of the field, the red, the green, the black. And you can see there, right now, Ethan Reed able to hold on. Parker Dime actually up 2 spots, but there is action happening in the GT3 field. Pedro da Silva getting caught up in an incident there, a complete bottleneck as they go through turn one. Pedro da Silva, definitely not the result he was looking for. That's going to hurt him very badly in the championship standings.
Yeah, it's fortunate for him, but he's shown us that he's had the speed to move back up through the field, Zippy. So I suspect he's got enough pace to try and compensate for that early spin there. Fortunately for him, looked like it didn't really have a whole lot of contact and damage. So I suspect we'll be able to see him try and work his way back up through the field here with rather short order.
Oh, absolutely. You can see there the cold tyres very much having an effect. Now, Jordan Martin is an absolute alien in these GTP cars. I'm actually surprised that he's back in third. Excuse me, I'm feeling the tea a little bit, but right now we've got a little bit of a slipstream battle going on, and it looks like Parker Dime's going to do it. And while I say that, there's Wyatt Hutto trying to make a move as well. And yeah, absolutely, Jordan Martin shuffled back there as they go through the bus stop, ladies and gentlemen. And you can see there, it looks like Morgan Smith's looking to get in the action. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe he may have switched car. I don't remember him being in the Porsche, but correct me if I'm wrong, Rob.
I'm trying to remember as well, Zippy. I think he was in the Porsche. I think he might have changed up his paint scheme though. He's gone with the looks like the chrome green, where I think he was rocking more of like a white and blue paint scheme. I'm not sure if that maybe is thrown off why it looks like it's in a different car this week or not. But right now he's trying to put a whole lot of pressure on Jordan Martin and Wyatt Hutto up ahead, as we see Morgan actually have to duck out onto the grass to gather that one up to not make any contact with with Martin. He's going to get around Martin. Next up on his list is trying to snatch away P4 from Wyatt Hutto.
Well, certainly, it looks like the GTPs are indeed delivering a bit of a battle, and I'm actually wondering, maybe it was a green and white paint job we had last week for Morgan Smith. Certainly, I recognise the green. I'm pretty fan pretty much a fan of that. But you can see there very, very gently on the throttle. And even then, a little bit of a kick there from the rear end as they're going through the infield section. Certainly, when the tires get up to temperature, they will start to take it at even more speed. Certainly, as you go onto the banking section, you have to be so delicate with the throttle. Certainly a smooth input, ladies and gentlemen. If you absolutely stab on that friggin' gas pedal, then you are going to do one move, baby, and it's going to be round, round, baby, round, round. But right now, Morgan Smith, he was up a couple of positions, but right now, all the GTP field, for the most part, in the same place he started with, apart from Parker Dime, who's up 3 spots. As we have a look back at the GT3 field, and Malik Bass currently resting in P2.
Yeah, we see Malik Bass trying to chase down Daniel Pino. Daniel Pino, our championship leader at this point. We've seen him up around, sniffing around the top 2 or 3 of the field every week so far, Zippy. So no surprise we see him up there again. He's definitely outdrives his iRating week in, week out. Daniel's a strong driver, but we see Malik Bass getting real quick through the bus stop there. Closes that gap up on the back of Pino. He's going to be able to utilize that draft down to the NASCAR 4 in the front straight. We'll see if Malik's able to make a move into turn 1.
But certainly he's got the slipstream, and it's interesting to see Daniel Pino having a little bit more competition. Certainly the AMG is a little bit of a dog, and depending on who you're at, some people love it, some people hate it. But right now, Malik Bass, you got to wonder. No, he's going to save fuel, ladies and gentlemen. There's not the move to, not really the room to make the move done. I wonder if he's going to think about the long game. Is Malik Bass going to try and is he going to try and make a pass in the pits, ladies and gentlemen, or is he going to try and keep pushing him away from Michael Morbeto? But right behind him, actually, Patrick Rich. He's currently the hard charger in the entire field, up 10 positions, ladies and gentlemen, in the number 666.
Yeah, we finally have a Mustang. We didn't have any Fords on the grid last week, if I remember correctly, or maybe I'm thinking of the other GT3 series, but I don't know. I think whether it drives well or not, I think the Mustang is my personal favorite with a GT3. It's hard not to love getting into that thing and just hearing it roar around the track, Zippy. So good on Patrick, up 10 spots. See if he can keep pushing forward as he's trying to chase down Michael Morbeto up ahead in the Porsche. A little bit of a screaming V8 versus a flat V6 battle here to see which one plays out as they head up to the high-speed banking section of Daytona.
But right now, Patrick Rich doing an absolutely fantastic job. 10 positions overall. It's actually something must have happened with Fozzie Fazzillo and Tyler Watson. Both of them are GTPs, and both of them actually resting around in 23rd and 24th. Overall, let's find out exactly what happened to Fozzie Fazzillo. I mean, the car looks beautiful, but you got to keep it on the straight and narrow. As you see, he's there going on the back section and just gets a little bit caught off one of the Corvettes, and sadly, absolutely munches on that tire barrier. Very easily done. But I do wonder what happened to Tyler Watson as well, the number 92 car, the Acura, probably the best looking GTP. We'll keep an eye out for that. But right now, we've got Brad Mueller. He's here we go. Let's find out. And that indeed is Fozzie Fazzillo alongside, and it looked like both of them ended up eating it.
Yeah, it looked like Fazzillo just got a little late in the brakes, got into the back of Watson, and they both rolled off track.
Definitely a little bit unfortunate, and honestly, I've seen Fozzie Fazzillo in these GTPs. He's a competent driver, but I think that the new tire model may be getting a little bit better of him today. But right now, we're checking out the battle as they go down into turn 1 as Curtis Matthews in that very sleek-looking Acura. I gotta admit, that is the best-looking vacuum cleaner I've ever seen, ladies and gentlemen. Trying to pull away from Pedro da Silva. Now, we saw Pedro get caught up lap 1, turn 1. He got pushed out very wide, and Pedro da Silva will be looking to make a recovery. As you see there, Curtis Matthews going a little bit wide, and Pedro da Silva able to sneak on by, and now he's going to be under attack from Frank Manarino, the next car on the totem pole.
Yeah, when you're battling that close, it'd be one little mistake and cost you multiple positions that we just saw there for Curtis Matthews. Unfortunately, I guess fortunately for him, actually only lost the 1 spot to Pedro da Silva, who's on a recovery run, but now he's got to hold off one of the Manarinos. That's Frank Manarino, and that's a battle for 19th overall. It's also 12th in class, Zippy. So they've got a few cars behind them as they're starting to see the GTP field already working through the back half of the GT3s.
I've actually got a feeling that may actually be Tyler Watson there, Rob. Certainly he's still making a little bit of recovery, but I've got to say that paint job looks gorgeous. Actually, this has got to be the best painted league I think we've covered here on Pit Road Productions. You see the sheer difference in closing speed. And I've got to be honest, the Acura as well, probably my favorite looking at of the GTPs, and also the one that I have, that and the BMW, which actually the BMW only represented today by Jordan Martin, who's currently resting back in sixth. Actually, a little bit lower than I would expect from him. But Malik Bass has been able to sneak his way ahead of Daniel Pino. I'm not sure what happened there, but he's currently trying to pull away about half a second, depending on where we are. Let's take a quick look at the replay here, Rob.
Yeah, it looks like Bass just utilizing the draft, possibly a slowdown for Pino. Looks like he really kind of just pulled up out of the way, but regardless, either way, it's going to promote Malik Bass up into P1, and now he's the rabbit being chased by Daniel Pino. Now we'll see how the carrot works on the other end of the stick.
Well, certainly in this kind of situation, honestly, I would not want to be in P1, ladies and gentlemen. There's still about 38 minutes left of this race to go. I would honestly be trying to tank slap this thing a little bit and trying to give Daniel Pino a little bit of a hint to try and get past. But you can see in the background, that Porsche appears to be getting a little bit closer of Michael Morbedo. He's in the number 54 machine, that bright pink Porsche, ladies and gentlemen. And he appears to be a little bit of a Carter as well. But certainly the Porsche, absolutely phenomenal sound. And actually, as I have a look through the grid, Rob, that beautiful Lambo not even represented here today.
Try to wipe the tears from your eyes, Zippy. Try and wipe the tears from your eyes. But as I said, maybe somebody will jump into it next week. I'm not sure what the car change rules are here, but as I said, it's definitely the car to have next week. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody takes, maybe if there's a points penalty they have to take to jump into another car or not. But we'll have to see how it plays out. But looks like our closest battle right now is between Frank Manarino, as he's trying to fend off Tristan Lewis in behind.
Well, not only that, behind Tristan Lewis is the younger brother of Frank Manarino. It's Michael Manarino. Excuse me. At this point, Tristan is in the middle of a Manarino sandwich. And I gotta say, another fantastic paint, ladies and gentlemen. Like a little bit kind of punk, actually, if you have a look at that. Kind of like a graffiti kind of look. I'm not normally this aesthetically interested in paints, but I've got to say I'm really enjoying it. And I believe that says "Hold my beer" going across the sun visor. So that's certainly a message I can get behind. But right now, definitely the closest battle happening on track, as it looks like Tristan Lewis has been able to snake it up on the inside. It's Corvette versus Ferrari as they head round turn one, and you can see the younger brother there, Michael Manarino, looking to try and capitalize on that. Maybe get one up above his brother. It's Porsche versus Ferrari versus Chevrolet.
Yeah, Tristan Lewis successfully puts the two Manarino brothers together, but he gets a little boop there from Michael. That's going to allow, or sorry, from Frank. That's going to allow Michael to sneak up back on the inside. So interesting to see a little bit of strategy here from the Manarinos. One doing the old look over here, misdirection, and the other one sneaking around Tristan Lewis. So we'll see if he's able to fight back here, but he's in the middle of the Manarino sandwich right now.
It almost feels like a very high-speed game of peekaboo, and it's certainly one with a lot bigger consequences. As you can see there, the GTPs are starting to make their way up. That's Ethan Reed leading them, and he has currently got about a 1.3-second gap to the car behind of Alberto Alvarez, as he's already passed Frank Manarino. Now he's past Tristan Lewis, and he's going to want to get as many of these cars past before the bus stop chicane. Don't get me wrong, I think they renamed it, ladies and gentlemen, but for self, it's the bus stop. That's what we're going with, and you can see very clearly he's going to want to get that done. Alberto Alvarez able to stay with him, and all the GTPs following behind are going to get caught behind the GT3 traffic as they head through this section. So certainly a little bit of a hold up there, as you see Parker Dime looking to try and get moving and continue his pursuit up through the GTP grid.
Yeah, we take a look back here from Alberto Alvarez. You can see how big that gap opened up by Parker Dime, unfortunately having to bail into the I believe they call it the Le Mans chicane now, Zippy, as he had to wait on the GT3 traffic and couldn't really afford to dive in without trying to force an issue. So we'll see if he's able to put his head down, put the nose down to the grind, and try and chase back down Alberto Alvarez. But on its own merits, Parker Dime up 3 spots from where he qualified. So overall, a decent run, as we see the Corvette of that was Pedro de Silva, or sorry, that's the Ferrari. Pedro de Silva looked like he went a little wide into the first horseshoe.
I have a feeling Chris Rice may have took a scenic route as well, ladies and gentlemen. I have to keep an eye on that and see exactly what happened. Here we go. So that's Chris Rice in the yellow and purple, ladies and gentlemen. And that's one of the Mustangs you see there side by side. That's Pedro in the back, and a little bit of a knock there from the Mustang. And at this point, Chris Rice, the 211-911, is pretty much along for a ride. Thankfully, no major damage there, but definitely a little bit of a shock for him. And was that Brad Mueller driving the Mustang, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, it was the 6 car of Brad Mueller. Just got into the the right rear of Rice, and that's all it took, unfortunately, was to send him spinning around. And See our leader Ethan Reed working through a little more of the GT3 field, heading into the Le Mans chicane bus stop again this time. Morgan Smith not too far behind. Actually, sorry, that's Wyatt Hudo. Him and Ethan Reed, similar paint schemes, but Morgan Smith trying to chase down Hudo. We've seen that he's been trying to chase him down for the most part of the race so far. Looks like Hudo able to open up a bit of a gap up to 9/10ths of a second, not 9 seconds here. But Smith going to try and utilize that traffic up ahead. Let's see if he can close that gap and work in around traffic while Hudo gets holed up.
Well, here's where it very much can be beneficial to have teammates. Don't get me wrong, these guys are going to do it honest and cleanly, but certainly your teammates are going to be more motivated. Does that look like a pass there on the inside? And then somebody's definitely gone wide there behind Morgan Smith. Kyle Buchel, Kyle Mills, the two Kyles potentially going at it further back. As you see there, yeah, that's okay, so we have a look here. That's Kyle Buchel in the AMG. Looked like they went a little bit wide, but they managed to get the position, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe we'll take a quick look at the replay of that in just a moment. A lot happening there in turn one. As you see the BMW of Jordan Martin looking to make his way past next. Trying to get caught up, trying to get away as he's going to send it up on the inside, and the door is very firmly closed there. That AMG is not having it, and it means that the WBM driver has been at a little bit of a disadvantage. Incredibly close quarters, ladies and gentlemen. Jordan Martin, very forceful through the field today.
Yeah, he's not wasting much time. He is down 3 spots from where he qualified, Zippy, so he's trying to recover that quickly. We usually see Jordan up near the front of the pack. We don't have... who is it? Mr. Finch here this week to battle with Jordan Martin. So some points on the table for the rest of our GTP field to try and close that gap. So we'll see how it plays out. I know Jordan would definitely like to get further up in the field to try and make a slightly bigger points haul here tonight.
Well, one person who is going to be able to score some points, albeit the race is not going how they intended, is Tyler Watson. Now, we got him here in the booth. Tyler, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you guys loud and clear.
Hey Tyler, so from what I can understand, you're driving this absolutely gorgeous Acura. I've got to say, loving the paint job on that, but it looked like the cold tires maybe giving a little bit of an issue. Can you tell us a little bit about your perspective for the race start?
Yeah, took your advice from last week, kept it easy, just tried to see if I could stay in my position, and I had, I think one of the WM Cadillacs behind me, and I was going to try to keep him behind me on the outlap, because I know the Cadillac struggled really hard on the cold tire, so I was going to take advantage of that. And I was right, they do struggle, and according to him, he locked up, so can't be too upset at him, you know. I can understand if it was an accident on my end, how I'd feel, so it's just a racing incident, accident, stuff happens, but definitely a bit disappointing for me.
Well, it's fair to say, and I definitely, once the new tire model come out, you know, a couple of the guys I was out there practicing with them, and I actually, I resisted driving the GTP from that point forward. It's so challenging, so demanding. It's almost like being on a sheet of ice. But I've got to say, you're doing a great job keeping it on track. We're going to wish you the best of luck and leave you to it. But thank you very much for coming into the booth.
Thank you.
That was Tyler Watson. Definitely not the best state he's looking for, but right now he is going to still be able to score some points. As you were saying, Steve Finch not here today, so that's basically 3 points there for Tyler Watson. And in his defense as well, he's got the lowest I rating in the GTP field, and it is one of the fastest cars in the iRacing service as well. So to be fair to him, you know what? It's a very big challenge, and, you know, to try and compete with some of these guys as well, it really is. You know, he's got his work cut out for him.
Yeah, definitely. He's doing well so far, but we got a battle up front now, Zippy. Alberto Alvarez has been able to chase down Ethan Reed. That gap closing down fast, down to half a second between P1 and P2 for the overall win here, as well as top spot in GTP.
Well, certainly GTP, and you know what, multi-class racing in general, certainly the lap traffic can have some very big effects on that. And so you know, these guys are currently in a good bit of clean air. They got Joseph Kronk up ahead about 13 seconds, and that's rapidly depleting, ladies and gentlemen, as it looks like Javi Sierra has gone into the pits as well. I do wonder what's happened with that gentleman there. As you can see, that Corvette, again, another beautiful paint job, ladies and gentlemen, a nice aesthetically pleasing green. He's going through the pits. It does seem a little bit early for a scheduled stop. Robert, you seen anything on the bulletin board there to suggest why he's pit so early?
I don't, but we do have had another car in. Tyler Watson went through his pit stop too as well early on, so we might be just into the pit window here, Zippy, if any of our drivers are looking to utilize an undercut. But I'm not seeing anything as far as black flags or meatball flags to reason why Javi came in early on. But we'll just have to see how it plays out.
Actually, speaking of black flags, I believe Jordan Martin may have had an incident a lap or two ago. Certainly lap 10. I've just realized how to put that up. Let's see exactly what happened to him. Rob, talk us through it, sir.
Yeah, it looks like he's moving in the inside of Daniel Pina and our GT3 leader, Malik Base, and just gets on the throttle a little too hard, loses the back end, and it looks like he's going to tow from there, Zippy. Surprising that he's going to tow back and not just turn around and get going. So, interesting choice by Jordan Martin there, unless that was just a connection issue quickly that he blinked out, but he's back on track. Right now, I'm showing him at the tail end of the GTP field, so we'll have to see how it works out. But right now, he's got the leader, Ethan Reed, to his inside, so it's going to effectively put him a lap down.
I'm not entirely sure why he would have towed either, but you know what? We're going to worry about this battle up front, and it is between Ethan Reed and Alberto Alvarez, the league admin, well, one of the league admins at Envy Simsports. And again, a huge thank you over to the guys over there, Alberto, John Cannon as well. They're doing an absolutely great job. We see there from the back wing of Ethan Reed, he's very much under some pressure right now. It is Porsche versus Ferrari, and I got to say, in that battle, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be back in the Porsche, I'm afraid. Certainly, I'm looking forward to these guys, you know what, do a little bit more. I was thinking they're coming to F1, but I had a little bit of a brain fart moment there, certainly. But you know what, Porsche definitely was always the zippy, realistic dream car, ladies and gentlemen, which fair to say that hasn't happened. But right now, Ethan Reed living the dream for me a little bit and keeping it on the pole.
You can live vicariously through him, Zippy, but I just saw a glimpse in the background there. Parker Dime starting to close in on our two leaders here as they battle a little bit. That's allowing Parker to kind of put his nose down and push through on this one. So we'll see if he's able to keep pushing forward as they continue to battle. He would love to see them go too wide into a few more corners up there, as the longer they're too wide, that works well for him. They're cutting a much wider gap in the air for him, and he can just slip on through.
But not only that, there doesn't appear to be any lap traffic, at least for a little while. Carl Buchel and Pedro da Silva would be the next one on the list. Actually, Carl Buchel going to be approaching very shortly, ladies and gentlemen, for the GTP field to make their way past. And I do think, depending on where these guys can get by, if they have to try and get by here, it is going to severely slow them down compared to if they're going on the back section or the start-finish straight. Ladies and gentlemen, they are absolutely just going to blitz it by. And this might be exactly what Parker Dime needs to try and capitalize and get up into the top fight for the podium.
Yeah, Parker definitely would love to see those GT3s play a role in holding up traffic up ahead as he's trying to chase them down. But Parker's still working forward. It looks like we have Michael Manarino being flagged for an incident here, Zippy. So he's going 2x2 with the 7-Up machine. That was kind of odd. I'm not really sure what happened there. It was like he just...
I'm not sure what happened there.
Looks like he just...
That was Kevin Gettenberg, actually, in the 7-Up machine, the Porsche versus Porsche action. Now, honestly, Rob, I don't mind seeing that again, but we've got a battle going on right now as well. But let's have another look.
Oh, I don't think that was intentional. I think that's what that was, is if you ever get caught with the net code, it kind of sucks the cars in a little bit. And then once it releases, you kind of overcorrect and you find yourself heading back up into that car again. That's almost what it looked like to me there, Zippy.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't seem like a place that you'd have an intentional fight, but it looks like Daniel Pino is now on the back of Malik Base for the fight for GT3, ladies and gentlemen, and it is Chevrolet versus Mercedes. And I'm sorry, again, backing the European manufacturer on this one, as the Mercedes got an absolutely fantastic run out of that Le Mans section. And I thought he was going to go for a bump draft, but no, Malik Base absolutely hugging that top line. He does not want to stay ahead. He very clearly wants to get behind the wing of that AMG, try and save some fuel, and just let Daniel Pino push a big hole in the air for him.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was a little bit of strategy, maybe some fuel saving, but we've got Morgan Smith just coming out of the pits now. He's served his pit stop, so we're starting to see a few more drivers, Zippy, starting to come in to take some fuel. No need for tires. This is just a short sprint race, so we should see a few more drivers starting to pop in depending on their fuel strategy.
That definitely is a strategy to be at play, but it looks like Patrick Rich is going at it, and this time with Jacob Fury, who is actually driving the only McLaren on the grid, ladies and gentlemen. And yet again, I am so sorry, but I'm going to be bracking the European manufacturer on this one because it's a McLaren, ladies and gentlemen, and not just talented in Formula 1. Thank you, Mr. Lando Norris and the other guy, ladies and gentlemen. But you can see right now, Patrick Rich is going to have to keep his work cut out for him. He's currently up 10 places overall, 8 places in class. And I've got to say that Mustang sounds absolutely savage, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very much enjoying the soundtrack here. But Jakob Berry, he's really going to have to put the hammer down. He was a little bit closer. He had it down to about 2 tenths, under a tenth, and he's dropped back to almost a second now. So certainly if he wants to get back, get ahead of that Mustang, he's going to make sure he stays in that draft. I do wonder, is the Mustang just an absolute beast on the straights? Is the McLaren got an advantage on the infield? We're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, generally the McLaren is one of the higher top speed cars, but that being said, so is the Mustang. So it's interesting to see. Patrick Rich, as we mentioned early on, he's up 10 spots, but he's kind of stalled out once he got up to P10 and got that 10th spot to Zippy. A bit of a gap to Michael Morbetto up ahead. They've got 2.5 seconds to him up ahead, but they've got a little bit of a cushion to Kyle Mills, and behind another 2.6, 2.7 seconds back to Kyle Mills. So Patrick Rich and Jakub Fury really kind of just battling each other at this point in time.
And I'm keeping an eye on the timing right now. He's definitely taken a chunk off him off. He was about 9 tenths back, and that gap is now down to about 5 tenths, ladies and gentlemen. So certainly the draft is helping. The top speed of that McLaren, he's really sending it, bouncing off around 7,500 RPM. Actually, not the highest red line, actually, but you can see there's going to be another car in the mix. I believe that's Tyler Watson coming by in the GTP. He's going to be going on the inside. This could get awkward for him, and that might be exactly what Jakob Fury didn't need, ladies and gentlemen. That's now put him out of the draft. He's going to hope he's going to be able to recover that as they go around turn 2, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be able to get back under the wing of that Mustang and continue his pursuit up into 4th place in class.
Yeah, it's definitely what Fury wanted to see, but as we jump back here, Malik Base making a move around Daniel Pino now. I'm almost wondering if this might be a little bit of strategy between these two drivers. Is if he's doing the leapfrog strategy on the straights where you draft ahead of me, I'll draft ahead of you, and we just kind of work together to move away from P3. It's starting to work because they've opened up another half second over Michael Morbetto in 3rd. Michael, unfortunately, doesn't really have a drafting partner. I'm wondering at this point in time, with still about halfway to go, if Morbetto might be better served to kind of back up a little bit, try and pick up Rich and Fury behind, and have a 3-car draft train to try and close down the 2 leaders up ahead.
I get what you're saying, Rob. I don't know if I'd slow down for him, but would I start thinking about an earlier pit stop? I think that may be an option for him, because certainly if you've got no one to draft from, then that, that just means you kind of losing time there. So what can you do? I mean, you can slow down. That's one option. You can speed up. That's easier said than done. Or you can indeed try to, maybe take an early pit stop and see where you appear back out. Certainly, I don't know anybody or indeed any aftermarket application yet that can accurately predict where you're going to reappear after the pit stop at this point. But right now, the battle continues, ladies and gentlemen, for the lead of the race overall. As you see that beautiful Acura, I've got to say, loving the paints here today in the Envy Simsports International Sports Car Challenge. But right now, Alberto Alvarez continuing to apply the pressure to Ethan Reed.
Yeah, it looks like Alvarez might be running a lower downforce setup, as on the straights he's really able to close up on the back of Reed. Utilizing the draft off Reed and the GT3, a little bit of draft off them too as well. But we've got Michael Rushton up ahead in the Mercedes. We'll see if he plays a role as these 2 GTP drivers work their way in through the infield. Looks like Rushton's going to be out of pace out of space. He'll be able to move around the outside of him. He's not really going to cause much delay. But Alvarez later on the break, last of the late great breakers right there, trying to put a whole lot of pressure on Reed. Doesn't look like Reed's really worried all about right now. Car looks very solid planted. We don't see him making any real erratic moves with the steering wheel, real calm behind the wheel. So we'll see how it plays out now that they're back up on the high-speed banking, where we saw that Ferrari of Alvarez able to sneak up on the Porsche up ahead.
Well, it did look like the Porsche of Ethan Reed did go a little bit wide there as they head up onto the back section. As you can see there, Kyle Mills is going to be some lap traffic. They're going to get it done before they head through the Le Mans section, with more lap traffic that they're going to encounter as they're going around that section. So certainly that's definitely going to put a little bit of a hinder there, but able to keep the momentum going, able to keep the race going, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see there, there's McLaren. But McLaren and Mustang battle, that's still going on under a second here. And you can see there, look, Alberto Alvarez ducking in, getting a little bit more slipstream, ladies and gentlemen. Probably giving the Mustang a little bit of a blow-by as they go completely, absolutely sending it. And there you go, a late move there by Ethan Reed. He's going to duck into the pits. Make sure you don't get a pit speed limit, speed one. pit entry speeding warning, but there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I knew the words, I just had a couple of others getting in the way, ladies and gentlemen. Story of my life, that. But that means Alberto Alvarez is now going to be leading the race, but for how long? Is he going to keep staying out? Certainly the tyres is another thing to keep in mind as well. Certainly we've seen that they've been a little bit of an issue when they're cold, but certainly once they're up to temperature, the lifespan of them, I've not really heard any complaints.
Yeah, no, I think they're fine once you get them up to temp. Zippy, you just got to be real careful getting them up to temp, as Pedro da Silva is still trying to recover from that early spin. He's got Brad Mueller in the Mustang up ahead. We've seen Brad going to get tied up in an incident there earlier, so him as well on a bit of a recovery. It's like Mueller going to go a little wide. Silva going to tuck into the inside. He's going to make that move. That's going to give him back 16th overall and put him into the top 10 in the GT3 field.
I gotta say, that was an absolutely beautiful pass. He saw what was happening, calculated it, and just went and stuck it up on the inside. Mueller knew it was happening, and at that point, he was along for the ride, ladies and gentlemen. But can Pedro da Silva pull it away from Brad Mueller? As we see Patrick Rich there, he's got the McLaren right behind him. That gap was as high as a second. Now it's got down, it's about 4/10 of a second. I gotta wonder, is Jacob Ferry, is he gonna try and save fuel, or is he actually looking to make a pass? Certainly, neither of these guys have graced pit lane yet, and I do wonder, if I was Jacob Ferry, I would be very much making sure I follow Patrick Rich into the pit window, but you got to see which way is it going to go. Maybe Jacob Ferry finding that Patrick Rich potentially holding him up, but honestly, with the draft, I'm highly doubtful.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to lose your draft partner out here, but look at the McLaren just pull up on the back of the Mustang there. Looks like Ferry going to try and make a move into turn one now. Is he going to get it finished before they hit turn one? I think so. Oh, a little bit of late braking for Rich. He's going to try and fight back on the inside. The front end of that Mustang getting a little squirrely. He had to kind of back out of it, gather up. But he's going to have the inside preferred line, and he's going to hold on to that spot. So Ferry's going to have to try and find another way to get around the ultra-wide Mustang up ahead. So Mustang takes up a lot of room on the track. You really got to try and make it around when you can, because it doesn't offer much room to go 2x2 in the corners.
I do wonder if Patrick Rich is indeed a Beyonce fan, because it certainly seems that the Mustang has got the booty to represent, ladies and gentlemen. But while this is happening, Kyle Mills, he's going to be throwing some dollar bills on that booty very soon. These guys keep fighting. He is going to be within tipping range, ladies and gentlemen. And by tipping range, I mean a potential chance to move himself up to P3 in the GT3 podium. It's going to be another Mustang. And he get it done, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly the gap is indeed falling a little bit, but not quite enough. It's about 1.4 seconds right now. He's going to need just another couple of attempts to get under the wing there of Jacob Ferry, the 20 machine, for the 305 to really start to enter this battle.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the last lap times. Kyle Mills with a 145.9 to the two cars ahead. Ferry with a 146.0 and Rich with a 146.6. So if Rich and Ferry start to go battle a little bit without any time, Kyle Mills could be right up in that battle, like you mentioned. But will be interesting to see pit strategy. Another one I would suspect Kyle Mills is going to want to try and pop into the pits at the same time those two cars up ahead do, to try and stick with them the best he can.
Yeah, with Mills not being in the draft for the majority of that, I'm suspecting he's going to have to pit maybe a little bit earlier if these guys are pushing it as far as they can go. And you know what? I got to wonder why Jacob Ferry is really going for it at this point. Don't get me wrong, he keeps putting an effort, but at this point, I'm wondering if he's just playing with his food before he eats it. As they head around at turn one, they both get through cleanly. And honestly, I think Jacob Ferry is just trying to psych out his opponent. I think he could have made the pass. I think he's just choosing to literally do a little bit of baiting. And right now, that's opening it up for Kyle Mills. He's moved in even closer now. 1.1 seconds in the gap.
Yeah, I think what Fury's trying to do is trying to just force a mistake by Rich. Just keep putting a whole lot of pressure on him, but keep it at about 9/10 instead of the 10/10. Try and force Rich to go into that 10/10 range to try and hold him off and force a mistake. But we see now Fury really starting to put a lot of pressure on Rich the whole way around, not really giving him much room to breathe. I think he's starting to see Kyle Mills closing in that mirror and realizes he can't really, as you mentioned, play with his food much longer. He needs to start eating it.
Well, it's kind of like, you know, he's playing with the food, and then this big gazelle is going to come along, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I say big gazelle. I don't know if gazelles are particularly vicious, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, you know what, I've seen some pretty messed up there, but right now it's going to be not a case of deer. It's going to be a case of two ponies, ladies and gentlemen, with the McLaren in the middle. It certainly seems the the more civilized of the two cars. We've got to put it like that. But right now, you see, look how close Kyle Mills has got. Fantastic entrance there. And that gap now down to half a second. He's very much going to be in the drafting range. Now, what's he going to do with that? He's been burning the fuel pretty heavy. He's had no one to draft from, as we see an absolutely beautiful marshmallow toasting experience out the back of that McLaren. Certainly, ladies and gentlemen, get your smalls on the go. But is Kyle Mills going to be able to stay with these guys? None of them yet coming down pit lane.
Yeah, we're going to go around another time. They've got to be getting to the end of their fuel load here shortly. The cars are going to start feeling a little light. Looks like Fury again trying to make the move into turn one. Just can't get it to stick. I think he needs to try and get himself onto the inside there, Zippy, so we can force Rich out a little wide and hold on to that spot. But it looks like we've got Alberto Alvarez, our P1 in GTP right now, trying to work through the lap traffic. We've seen Alvarez come in. He's completed his pit cycle, but not sure what happened to Ethan Reed. He's fallen back out of the top standings in GTP. He's currently in 4th, so I'll have to take a look and see if I see anything flagged here for him, if it was just a slow pit stop. But right now, Alberto Alvarez has a 3-second gap over his next competitor in GTP, which is Parker Dime.
Let's have a look at the timing. So Ethan Reed was down pit road for about an extra 13 seconds in comparison. So something's definitely gone on. Maybe he's accidentally forgot to take tires off. That was potentially a race-ending mistake for him. But good news for Parker Dime. Let's put him up into 2nd. Tyler Watson currently in the pits. But the battle is honestly, it's all in the GT3s right now, ladies and gentlemen. As we've seen, these guys are still going at it. Actually, Pedro da Silva as well. They're going at it with, where they're gone now. I've lost them.
He's battling Mueller.
Brad Mueller.
Yep.
Thank you. I knew what one.
I knew you had it just on the tip of your tongue there, Zippy. But yeah, we've seen Mueller and Da Silva kind of swapping spots as well the last few laps. So we're starting to see a lot of the battles through the field, Zippy, where drivers are kind of swapping back and forth. Sometimes it's strategy. You can work a little quicker if you keep leapfrogging each other as you go. But then sometimes it's also just a guy really trying to push and take that spot, like we saw with Fury, where it was actually slowing them both down and dropping them back into the clutches of Kyle Mills.
It's going to be interesting to see how that battle emerges, but looking at it right now, very much the same. Kyle Rich holding on to that 3rd place position. You got Jakob Fury right there behind him in 4th, with Kyle Mills very much in the action as well. And I got to be honest, if I'm Kyle Mills, you know what? I'm going to be wondering how hard do I want to fight these guys. As you can see there, that is the GTP of Ethan Reed, ladies and gentlemen, looking to try and get through. And it's not really the optimal spot for him as he's trying to make his way through during the infield. Kyle Mills definitely backing out of that early. Wants to make sure he's very much clear of the action as Reed sends it up on the inside, right up the back of that Mustang. He's going to take the inside line, ladies and gentlemen. Incredibly close action there. And Kyle Mills now getting ever closer behind Jakob Fury. And that was a little bit of a slowdown potentially there for Patrick Rich. This could influence his exit speed onto the back section and give Jakob Fury exactly what he needs to get by.
Yeah, this could be the final time that Fury needs to make that move. But first they have to tend with the bus stop. Excuse me, where it seems like the last few laps that Patrick Rich has been a little better through the bus stop section, but then from the exit of the bus stop into turn one, that seems to be really where the McLaren has been shining and stretching its legs. So we'll see if he's able to try and put some pressure on Rich. See if this time he can get himself onto the inside into turn one. I think that's really what he needs to make that pass stick. Rich has been real great at positioning his Mustang as far to the inside as he can to not allow any space for Fury to make a move onto the inside. But we see Morgan Smith going by this battle on the outside in the GTP, but there's Fury again on the outside. We'll see if he's able to make it stick this time. Oh, looks like the two Mustangs that come into the pits. Kyle Mills is going to just blast past Patrick Rich. Hopefully he got slowed down before the timing and scoring line there, but we'll see if he gets any penalty to serve here. But if not, that was a brilliant move by Kyle Mills getting into the pit stall to leapfrog Patrick Rich.
Well, I am checking right now. I'm not seeing any black flag on my end, so I think he may have indeed got away with that. But I've got to say, absolutely incredible move there. Certainly doing everything he could to really capitalize on that. And I do wonder as well, how's Jakob Fury going to do? Is he going to box this lap? Is he going to be out there? But right now, Malik Bass and Daniel Pino, both of these drivers yet to grace pit lane. I do wonder, are they going to be coming down on this lap? Certainly, we've seen a couple of people go through. Tristan Lewis as well. I believe he was in an Acura. I understand he's had a bit of an incident, so maybe we'll catch up with that as well. Oh, sorry, Corvette. My apologies.
Yeah, we got Tristan Lewis here in the Real brightly colored Corvette kind of steampunk design there. So he just dropped tires onto the curb. Car got unsettled. He might have just bottomed out a little bit on the curb and just flat spun him around, Zippy, and that's all it takes. But it looks like it was a fairly light tap on the wall. Shouldn't be a whole lot of aero damage, just a little bit of paint damage on that thing.
Oh, definitely you're going to need a little bit more than a roll of gaffer tape, ladies and gentlemen, or duct tape. I believe they're the same thing, but I don't want to stipulate a brand, and if I do, they can certainly they can offer us some sponsorship, albeit in duct or gaffer tape. I don't mind. Certainly not my thing, but Patrick Rich, I believe they're still in the pit, so something is going on with Patrick Rich. The 666 car still currently in the pit. Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on here? He was looking so potent and has yet to leave the pit box.
I wonder if tires wouldn't have taken this long, so I wonder if it's maybe a technical issue for Patrick. But fortunate for him, we saw him up 10 spots on the day. And Morgan Smith, also something happened to Morgan Smith here. Let's see if we can quickly take a look at what happened to Morgan. Looked like he had a bit of a off track there. I think it was a solo incident. Might have had cold tires coming out. I think he just serviced his car not long ago, but yeah, just doesn't quite make the brake zone into the horseshoe and just kind of kisses the wall. That's off. A little bit of damage on the left front corner, but should be able to keep driving that and continue on.
Well, as I have a look at the event log, it's telling me that Patrick Rich jumped to the pit, so I'm kind of curious to see exactly what happened just before that. I don't see him leaving the pits either, so I'm definitely very curious. I don't know what you've got on your end, Rob, but maybe we'll take a quick peek at that, see if we can figure out why the 666 car is, for lack of better words, no longer... Oh, he overshot it.
Oh, yeah, I think he overshot his pits, backed up, and then, yeah, that explains it, Zippy.
Well, that is definitely an unfortunate way to really, for lack of better words, absolutely cluster your race, ladies and gentlemen. But certainly somebody who's not having their race clustered right now is, got to be honest, it's Malik Bass. He's been going at it with Daniel Pino this entire time. They've been going at it for about 39 minutes right now. I believe Malik's married, and certainly Daniel Pino appears to be his new dancing partner for the High Point Racing AMG. But these guys have been definitely doing a little bit of a shuffle between themselves as Malik Bass finally comes down pit road. Daniel Pino still running out with just 6 minutes left to go. Malik Bass, I do wonder if he's saved enough fuel to make a slipstream, to make a little bit of a, a pass in the pit scenario possible. We'll have to find out when Pino pits.
Yeah, we've seen the two of them kind of leapfrogging around, so it'll be interesting to see, like you said. But we've seen Pino in the past two races too as well, being excellent on saving fuel. We've seen him win actually at Road Atlanta. I believe he was able to pass Pedro da Silva on pit strategy too as well. He was able to go a couple extra laps on the fuel, so it'll be interesting to see if Pino's pulled out the winning fuel strat again tonight here, Zippy.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, if I was going to make an alcohol reference, I believe Pinot is more of a fine wine. And certainly that's something that you generally don't, you just sip at it, you savor the flavor. And I believe that's maybe what he's doing with his fuel, compared to the majority of the people from the UK, where they're just more like, or indeed Cape Breton, where they're just like, alcohol, and just neck the thing and actually have competitions to see who can consume it the quickest. And certainly, a big heavy V8, American made. Yeah, these things make absolutely phenomenal power, phenomenal soundtrack, but definitely not renowned for fuel economy. And I do wonder if Malik Bass is going to be a little bit of a disadvantage there through the pit cycle. But right now, Daniel Pino out leading the GT3 field as we're on board with Kyle Mills. Now, we saw him make that absolutely incredible pass as he went down pit road, and he's currently resting about 1 second behind the McLaren of Jakob Fury. Now, he just needs to be able to get a little bit more pace. If he can get under the wing of that McLaren, his race day can only get better.
Yeah, he's definitely going to want to push. We've got under 5 minutes to go now, Zippy. So last real chance for Kyle Mills to try and make a push to try and chase down Jakob Fury up ahead. But I got Kyle Mills pit entrance queued up again here, Zippy. If we take another look at this blistering pit entry here, see how he was able to leapfrog Rich. Just late on the binders as you can be, and that, folks, is how you get it done.
Absolutely fantastic pit entrance there, ladies and gentlemen. It's almost like he made practice. We see Daniel Pino is now leaving the pits, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to have a quick look at the pits time. So Pino was in the box for about 7 seconds, and Malik Base for about 8 seconds. So we've got to keep an eye on Malik Base. Where is Pino going to be as they come out? I'm looking for him on the left-hand side, and he's ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Pino has been able to slingshot his way ahead of Malik Base. That gap now about 2.5 seconds. And not only that, there is another GT3 in the middle of Javi Sierra in that beautiful Corvette. So I've got to say, well played there by Pino. Certainly getting a little bit of love in the chat from Keller, and able to pull off an absolutely fantastic pit strategy in the AMG.
Yeah, definitely. 16 point, or sorry, that's the GTPs. Pino with a 7.1 pit stop time to Malik Base's 8.0. So 9/10 picked up by Pino just through a pit strategy, and that's why we see him up 2 seconds on Malik Base now.
Oh, absolutely fantastic battle. These guys were going at it throughout the race. But actually, speaking of battles, ladies and gentlemen, no surprises. It's still Kyle Mills getting in the action, and he's closed down that gap to about 6/10 of a second. Can he get it done as they head through the Le Mans section?
Yeah, we're probably going to have this lap plus one more, Zippy. So running out of time for Mills to chase down Fury, but looks like he's able to do it. Looks like Mills a little quicker through the initial section back onto the high banks. And again, we see that McLaren kind of stretch its legs out on the Mustangs here through the chicane, but it looks like Mills late onto the brakes, closes that gap up a little more. So Fury going to have to start keeping an eye in his mirrors now, start driving with the mirrors versus less out the windshield to try and hold Mills off behind.
Well, you got to start to wonder at this point as well, do you want to make a tactical pass? With there being such a long drafting section in the final part of this course, you've got to wonder when is going to be the opportune time to move. And you can see there, no white flag for these drivers just yet. They're going to be going around at least another 2 more times, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see there, one of the GTPs, I believe that's Alberto Alvarez sneaking by. It is indeed, as they head down through turn 1. Now, Kyle Mills, he's definitely a smart guy. Is he going to keep the pressure there on Jakob Fury? Is he going to make the pass early on? I'm not sure which way he's going to play it, Rob. What would you be doing in this situation?
Honestly, I think I would just kind of stay as tight on the back bumper as I could, Zippy, wait till we get up on the banking. Because if you get around him on the infield section, you're leaving yourself open to pass when you get back up on the banking, the high draft. It looks like that might be what Mills is working on here now. You want to try and make your pass as late as you can, as close to the line. You don't want to give that car another opportunity to draft back by you again. I'm
certainly in agreement with you on that tactic, but certainly a little bit of risk involved as well. Where the GTPs are making their way through, you can see Wyatt Hugo is going to be the next one through. Ladies and gentlemen, if you get that GTP at just the wrong moment, that could indeed make you lose that draft, lose that gap, and could indeed come back to bite you in the arse. So certainly it's going to be the final countdown. I do want to go on board with Alberto Alvarez, though, because he must be getting ready for the white flag any moment now. As you see there, he is there, heading through the Le Mans section. I'm expecting to see the white flag this time by. We're taking a look at the 29 car. Beautiful paint again, ladies and gentlemen. I've got to say, huge effort done on the paint jobs there. We'll keep a look as he's going by Malik Base. Are we going to see the white flag? I'm looking for it.
Yeah, but
no white flag.
Looks like Barney's itching for it. You should see him here coming across. There it is. White flag is out. So this is it.
Maybe a little bit early.
Yeah, final chance for Fury and Mills here, as it looks like Mills has found a way around Fury. Fury trying to fight back into the inside of turn 1, though. Looks like he's going to be able to do it. That McLaren just has a little bit of higher top end speed. He's able to utilize back through. That's exactly what I said, Zippy, where you want to try and make your move, your pass, to time it with getting across the line, because otherwise that car gets another chance to draft right back by you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is another obstacle in the mix. Actually, 2 obstacles right now. As you see, that's Pedro da Silva. He's one of them, looking to make a move. This could indeed come unstuck for Kyle Mills now. As you see there, Pedro da Silva trying to make a recovery drive. He's currently down 1 position from where he started. If he gets back into 5th overall, he will exactly equalize there. As you see these guys going side by side through the infield section, Mills holding on. Jakob Ferry is going to be looking in his mirror, hoping that these guys either take each other out or keep battling. You can see there, Jakob Ferry pulling away. With every second these guys go side by side, you got to wonder how much are they going to fight side by side again through the as they head up onto the back section. And that means that Jakob Ferry in the number 20 McLaren, he's pulled away about 7/10 of a second. I believe this may have been exactly what he needed. Alberto Alvarez very clearly in the lead. No real competition for him. Parker Dime 2 seconds back, but I do wonder what's going to happen in the GT3 field. There you go, Parker Dime there. But we're going to stay with this battle for the moment, ladies and gentlemen. gentlemen, I want to see exactly how it turns out. McLaren, Ford, and Ferrari duking it out at the end of this race.
Yeah, I think at this point in time, Zippy, I think it's Jacob Fury's position to have. I don't think Mills is going to have much to offer right now. I think he's focused on trying to keep the Silva behind him as they head to the line. And it looks like Fury now opened up that gap 4/10. He should be fairly safe up ahead. I don't know if Silva's going to get enough of a run to head to the line, but I think that's how they're going to cross. And there it is.
An incredibly close end, ladies and gentlemen. A huge job by them. But congratulations there to Alberto Alvarez, ladies and gentlemen. As you see, Michael Rushton crossing the line, and looks like the guy's getting a little bit of a posing section in. Curtis Matthews now crossing the line again. Really liking the paint jobs here in the Envy Simsports lead. Kyle Buchel as well. I think we saw it getting a little bit tangled up earlier for the K1 Esports team. Actually, I saw them competing in Sebring as well, so hopefully it went better for them than it did for my team, it's fair to say. Don't get me wrong, I was driving, so what do you think was going to happen? But Kevin Gedenberg there looking to cross the line in a 7-up machine with Tristan Lewis as well in the spray painted Corvette. Well, drivers there, actually both the Manarino brothers, for lack of better words, really eating it this week. Both of them looking like they're a lap down, if not more.
Oh, something just happened to Joseph Kronk there at the last second, but Michael Manarino, Frank Manarino, yeah, not the best week for them, Zippy, unfortunately, but Daniel Pino doing some victory donuts at the end.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, pour some gravy on it and call me Duncan, because definitely we definitely don't get Dunkin' Donuts here. And you see the Porsche trying to have a go as well. For lack of better words, a bit of showboating going on there. And there's definitely a little bit of damage on the front of that Porsche as well. You can just see a little bit of damage there to the front splitter. See Kevin Gedenberg sneaking through there. There's the winning Acura of Alberto Alvarez, and Acura? Ferrari, ladies and gentlemen.
Ferrari.
But subtle hint, while we do the results, guys, this is your subtle hint to actually get in there and get ready for some interviews, ladies and gentlemen. As you see, Alberto Alvarez still having a little bit of fun in the background. Actually, I think that's Tyler Watson actually in the Acura. But Alberto Alvarez, your winner today, taking the win from Parker Dime by about 2 seconds, who I can confirm did not have a kid, ladies and gentlemen. He just had his parents visiting. Fair play to him, you know. I don't know if I'd want to reproduce with me, but Wyatt Hutto there in third with Ethan Reed in fourth. Definitely a little bit interesting what happened to him in the pits, I think, is what cost him that race, with Morgan Smith in fifth. Tyler Watson sadly getting caught up in sixth. Fozzie Pazzillo retiring from the GTP field. As we see Daniel Pino there, he took the win. Actually, Rob, can you just display the GT3 for me a second there, please, for the race results? If we got the button.
Yeah, it's not sorting them as a class for the race results, unfortunately, Zippy.
Oh, okay. Well, my apologies, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have to figure that out behind the scenes. But Daniel Pino, he takes the win for the GT3 with Malik Bass in second and Michael Morbeto in third. Didn't really see too much of him, but then we had the epic freeway battle between McLaren, Ford, and indeed Ferrari for fourth, fifth, and sixth in the GT3 field, with Michael Rushton taking seventh in GT3. Curtis Matthews was after that. Chris Rise, we saw him get caught up a little bit earlier on in that purple and yellow Porsche. Carl Buchel is right behind him. Kevin Gedenberg and Tristan Lewis, Abby Silva and Brad Mueller as well. Quite a few laps down there from the GTP cars as well. As we continue there, Joseph Kronk, Michael Manarino, Frank Manarino, and Patrick Rich. Certainly unlucky there for Patrick Rich, and Jordan Martin and Fozzie Fazzillo retiring earlier on in the race. But I do believe, I think I can see Jacob Fury. He's not in the right spot, but I'm going to try and steal him anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Jacob Fury, can we get a mic check, sir? Are you there? I guess not. Okay. Oh, hey, Jacob Fury. I gotta say, we was looking forward to getting to have a chat with you here. We just stole you away, seeing you floated into the Discord. What an absolutely fantastic battle you had with Kyle Mills, and certainly there was another driver involved there. I had a little bit of a brain fart here for a second there, but tell us a little bit about how that was from your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was an exciting race. I got a poor start. I think I got into their apron on the start, so I had a bit of wheel spin. Managed to get ahead of the few cars, and then slowly caught up to, I think it was Patrick who was behind.
Yeah.
Fighting for him, fighting with him for a lot. The McLaren had a really high top speed there, so what would happen, I would get really close to him, pass him going onto the start-finish straight, but then
he would get me going onto the inside of turn 1. So that went around for a few laps till he pit. He had a really long pit stop. Might have had some damage or something. So then I came out about 1 second ahead of Kyle, about 5 minutes to go, and yeah, we got a really close battle. Heading into the bus stop chicane, there was a bit of contact. He tried to go down the inside. I turned in, and then no damage. We both hit each other. And then I got him back on the straight and managed to finish P4.
Well, I have some good news for you. So it looked like what happened to Patrick Rich. I'm remembering now. It does look like he absolutely blew through blew past his pit stall, tried to reverse back, and then ended up towing. So I believe he ended up getting suckered in by a penalty. I definitely feel for him. But I got to ask you as well. Certainly that battle with Kyle at the end. Was there like a certain position that you wanted to, very deliberately to, either defend or to attack kind of deal? Because certainly with there being such a huge drafting section at the end of this track, I do wonder if there's a bit of a tactical play. Tell us what your plan was in that scenario.
Yes, basically my plan was just use, while I was ahead, just to use that McLaren's top speed. So just make sure I'm ahead at the end of the infield section. Obviously the slipstream here is very powerful. The top speed managed to keep me safe for a few laps, but then eventually he managed to catch up to me going into the bus stop chicane. So yeah, I just wanted to hold the inside line for most of the corners as well, because the inside line here is if you have the inside, you basically cut the corner here. There's not much you can do around the outside. So yeah, just keeping the inside and staying ahead here was important.
Well, certainly you did an absolutely fantastic job of doing so. Able to get a very respectable, if I understand this correctly, P4 in the GT3 field. So congratulations to you there. Fantastic job. Before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to shout out?
I'd just like to shout out Patrick. We had a good battle there. I was excited for that, but I was unfortunate with what happened in the pits. And then also, obviously, Kyle for that close last lap battle we had.
Well, definitely a very valid point there from you, Cup Fury. And are we getting your name right there?
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Cup Fury, your P4 in the GT3 field. Thank you very much, and an absolutely fantastic race by you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, what a result that was. And I see now everybody's looking to try and get an interview. Tell you what, Rob, you take your pick, sir. I don't really mind. It's your choice on who comes next.
Well, let's pull in our overall race winner, Alberto Alvarez, and we'll have a talk with him. Alberto, congratulations on your P1. We saw you and Ethan Reed battling out for most of the race until the pit stops came around. We're not quite sure what happened to Ethan through the pit stop cycle, but was able to open up a bit of a gap for you. How did you see the race go for you? Oh, Alberto? Looks like we don't have any comms.
To Major Tom. All right, well, Alberto? He's lighting up, but he's looking a little dim. Oh, he's lighting up because I'm putting my mouse on him. Well, can't hear him. We can't interview him. So we're going to move on to the next person. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring in Parker Dime, as we're having a little bit of a fun discussion actually with your wife, I believe, in the YouTube chat, and she said, "Nice race, Parker." A little bit of a love heart. And I did ask, "How are you feeling after the baby, Catherine?" And she said she's still waiting, but I understand Rob's been able to catch up with you and go a little bit over your race as well.
Yeah, no,
well, that was my mother.
Oh, awkward.
Oh,
well played, Parker.
that was a bit of a shit road productions action right there for you, Zippy. But Parker, congrats.
You guys carry on. I'm gonna piss myself just to.
Congrats on the P2 and also having Zippy spill all your personal gossip all over the internet. But how did the race go for you out there?
Well, I mean, I got a great start off the line, which gave me a couple positions. I was able to shoot it up in the inside a little bit, but no, I mean, for the most part, it was pretty boring. those two took off on me, and then I cut my fuel margin way down, see what spots I can get out, and I came out P2. I don't know what happened to Ethan Reed. I think he overfilled or something like that. But I mean, overall, it was pretty fun. GT3s were good with traffic and everything, so successful compared to Road Atlanta for sure.
Yeah, we had a look at the pit stops times for the top 4 in GTP, and Ethan was looks like he was about 15 seconds, almost double the length of time in the pits for you guys. So yeah, something definitely went wrong. But we saw just before the pit stop cycle through where Alvarez and Reed were starting to battle, and it looked like you were starting to close in. Did you think you had a little bit to put a little pressure on them if you're able to get in the draft and close that gap, or was it just everything you could do just to catch up to them?
I mean, if I was able to get the draft, I may have been able to make something happen, but they were super fast the entire time. The traffic is giving and taking constantly, so as soon as I would get it from traffic, I'm sure I would give it away. But no, I started getting closer and closer to Albie at the end of that race, and I was getting a little hopeful, but finished 2 seconds behind him. But it was a good race for him, and too bad for Ethan.
Yeah, unfortunately it worked out for you. But before we let you go, Parker, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Thanks for my mom and dad, my parents, Zippy, for watching. And thanks for my wife for letting me do this in WBM.
Well, congrats, Parker. We hope to see you back in the booth here next week.
All right, thanks. Take it easy, guys.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Parker Diamond. I gotta say it. His mum absolutely roasting me in the chat. Well played from the Dime family, and even in the chat, they've gone sassy enough because they know that we can't pronounce the last name until this week to put in brackets the pronunciation. I gotta say, the chat burns. I'm pretty sure that's pretty much at the top of the game. Don't get me wrong, we've been roasted pretty hard in chat, but that's well played there. I'm incredibly impressed and slightly embarrassed, and also, typical me. But I gotta say, what an absolutely fantastic race, and great as well to have your parents tuning in, maybe your wife tuning in, anybody tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly we do enjoy having some company in the chat, and by all means roast the commentators. We do encourage it, ladies and gentlemen. But I think that's going to be about it from us. Let's see, where are we going next week, Rob? If I remember rightly, we're off to Watkins Glen.
Correct, Watkins Glen. It'll be interesting to see, Zippy. We go from the wide open confines of Daytona here to Watkins Glen, a little more traditional, tighter confined track with multi-class racing. Can be hectic there. You definitely have a large speed difference between these two classes of cars, so be a lot of patience and give and take out there next week. It'll be real interesting to see, and there might be a whole lot of carnage, but we'll be there for it.
Oh, absolutely. Certainly Watkins Glen is on the Princess approved track list. But ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see that, you're going to have to wait until next week. Actually, let's have a quick thing. So tomorrow we're going to have the final round of the Formula 1200 Canadian Formula, oh my gosh, Canadian Association of the F1200. You got the general gist, ladies and gentlemen. It's Formula V's F1200, same thing, but we've got the final round of it. The championship winner has already been decided, but certainly P2 and P3 still up for grabs. If you want to see some incredibly tight open wheel racing, that's going to be on tomorrow night. And then Saturday, we are back for the Almeida Academy. They are going to be doing the F1600. That's certainly been a lot of fun. Certainly round one. Interesting read on the penalty aspect. Certainly, it's the longest steward report I've ever read, ladies and gentlemen. So certainly, a few of the guys getting slapped across the knuckles. And yeah, very busy week here at Pit Road Productions. But certainly as well, we are thinking about maybe starting a little bit up for you guys to get involved in on a Monday night. But we're going to keep that under wraps for now. Certainly, a couple people in the loop about it, but nothing fully confirmed yet. So if you want to drive with us, well, it's your funeral, but certainly you know what, that possibility could be coming on Monday night. So no, the WDCR guys very much looking forward to that. But that's about it from us here on Pit Road Productions. My name, Hanson, I guess always will be Daniel Zippy Salmon, and join me doing the production controls and doing a bit of commentary as well, Rob the Goatee Campbell. Thank you very much for watching, and good night.